Ah, it works. Hello, 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 hello. Good day to you. It is time for another daily upload, which is not necessarily daily, but it's an upload. I'm going to check if everything is still alright. Maybe it is, maybe it is not. You never know. I'm gonna check my sound quality and phone such things, and then start. And it's good. Everything is alright. Alright, so that's a little loud. I love you, but it's really I was listening to things before. Remember it. Let's check again, just in case, you know. I know, I know, I know. What are you doing? Why? Yes, I know, I know. Give me a second. This feel the try and error kind of things. Alright. Where do I go? Okay, okay. Well, hello, 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 and be welcome to my daily stream. I'm very much happy to join us today, and yes, here we go. What should I talk about today? Shall we talk about awkward topics like the weather? Shall we talk about more interesting things like VTubers? You know, when I'm and yes, this is going to be a little bit too much detail. Maybe not. Let's see. You know, when I'm watching VTubers, I realized many people watch different kind of VTubers. Of course, everyone has their own favorites or kind of genres they like. What do I mean here? Some people like more like fantasy, some people more like gaming, relax, kind of background kind of things, or you know, the opposite. So I like to interact. I think I have mentioned this before, but I like to interact with with my viewers. Okay, with my viewers, but it was kind of a mistake. So it's true, but you know what I wanted to say is I like to interact with the streamers. So oftentimes instead I try to find streamers that I know I can talk with, chat with, kind of pester, have a little bit of banter. You know, that's kind of things, those kind of things. I really like to. This is why I really like indie streamers. You know, they have a kind of one way to interact with them. It's well, not necessarily always. Don't misunderstand. And it's hard to explain because I would say a lot of older VTubers, older us in more experienced, are in a way maybe better in what they do oftentimes, but also because of there is a reason why they have so much success, and of course I saw very good streamers that only have like 30-60 views and their stream was one of the best I've seen. So that is not really about the counts, because you can join a company too and get a lot of fame, or people like you and you kind of got a lot of I don't know. The point is, sometimes you can get a lot of views, sometimes not. What I wanted to say is that a lot of bigger streamers often feel more worked out, more experienced. They have a lot of things that I think they you can feel that they are kind of good, but they do because they have a routine. They have already it's not the first time they are doing it. Right? It's plenty. With a lot of indie streamers, it's either like that, because a lot of indie streamers, of course, they are very professional at their job. That doesn't really change. However, you can also do something that you oftentimes, well, sometimes bigger streamers answer to my chats too, so I really like to watch them too. But with smaller streamers, it's much more common, when there is like 5 chats, it's much more likely that you are going to get picked or answered to, unlike when there are 5,000 chats. So it's a little bit different, but I feel like it's nice to use this opportunity to kind of have a little bit of banter with these streamers. And how should I say this in better forms? Maybe it's just the simpler is better. It's nice to kind of give them a little bit back, it's to make them laugh too, because it's I like to make people laugh, that's true, but if you are laughing in your share currently, there is no way I can hear it. Maybe there are possibilities for those too, like if you are standing beside my door or hacking my computer, so there are that, unlikely that's going to happen. However, if you make a streamer laugh, you are going to hear that, and it's a really nice thing. Now, of course, a lot of people live in the real world, and they are well, pretty much all of us, well, most of us live in the real world. Questionable, but a lot of us know that not every laugh is real, of course, and it's something often comes up, how much is acting, how much is but and this is why I like indie, because a lot of them have genuine laughter. It's a genuine social interaction, and I'm probably not a very people's person. I don't know what is what. You just wrote her, she lost, maybe she gets a tip, kind of thing, or it is genuine. It's kind of hard to say, but I think there is I wouldn't say really a connection. Maybe you might have not met with your internet friends, but you still have a connection. And I think this is called a parasocial relationship. You have one-sided relationship, and with indies, it's easier to, even if just for a stream, she will remember your quirky comments, which I really appreciate, and that you can, and of course, not everything is about making her constantly laugh or force her to laugh after. It's absolutely about talking and interacting. This is why I like a lot of indie. Should I call it indie? Small streamer. I really like them, and of course, maybe they don't earn millions of dollars, but a lot of these are very professional and kind of make a lot of money too, which I noticed. I was kind of surprised about this, because I thought there is no way you can, but they do. Kind of interesting, to be honest, because I thought you need like 1,000 or 2,000 views to make a living. you're thinking about living like, you know, you have a salary kind of thing, you can decently pay your taxes and insurance. So I thought you need 2000 views for that, but I'm kind of realizing that 30 or 100 views, depending on your, of course, who's watching you, yes, it can pay the bills. And it was almost devastating, not in a bad way, but it's like my worldview was hit by like a meteor. Or is the meteor when it's fallen? Yes, yes. It's when it's not yet fallen. Alright, but it's still fallen. So I was kind of surprised about that, because you know, when you're watching an indie streamer, you're kind of worried for these people. You know, they don't have much views. You know, you're first. If you like someone, you often like to see them succeed. So I watched these super cute, super awesome streamers, and I'm like, oh dang, but she only has like 30 viewers, and so on and so forth. And it's a really big thing, by the way. 30 viewers is really hard. Don't misunderstand. But you kind of want to cherish that person, because she or he is really doing a great job. So I was really afraid that like, oh, can these people even make money? Maybe I should send some or whatever. And of course you can. I already did a couple of times. Not a rich person, you know. You know, kind of, instead of getting a cafe, which I don't do, or going to places like that, which I also don't do. So, you know, instead of buying like a DLC or whatever people actually spend money on, I don't know. I don't spend money on it either. You instead like, hey, send her the price of a coffee. This is actually really cheap, so it's like $1. But you know, I was thinking like more like send like $5 or whatever, I don't know. So I kind of usually measure myself in that regard. Like, oh, if I would have gone to the McDonald's, I would have spent more than this. And I guess I just, you know, get instead a small burger and send the rest to her. Kind of that kind of mentality when I'm tipping. So yes, but you know, you have that feeling. At least I did. Like, not exactly pity, and don't misunderstand. They are great. I might check that, delete this one after this. But a kind of fear, and I'm that kind of person who has a lot of these, and yeah, stuff. This is why it's rambling. My voice, my words are coming out of my mouth, and that is true. Sometimes they make sentences, but they, even if they are sentences, they are not always comprehensible. They don't really make a meaning. They're just words, sentences, floating around. So anyway, I really like to kind of pester and have banter with these kind of streamers, and I found so many good small streamers recently, and wow, I just didn't expect that, you know, that there are so many of them. And then yeah, anyway, I'm going to change topic, because even if I'm rambling, this is too much rambling. Not good. Well, not good or not bad. What is good and what is bad? Bad. Probably there are good things. Yeah. So anyway, today I have plans, many plans. I started streaming a little bit earlier, because after this I still have duties home. What I'm going to do today, hopefully, because tomorrow I want to make cheese. I was originally planning to do it today, but I realized that I don't really want to go to shopping. But if I go to shopping and then I make this, and then I make stream, and then I make cheese, well, it's going to be a bit too much, because for example, for cheese for making cheese, you kind of need time. For example, you can, if you are doing, so it really, I don't do it from milk. I'm going to start at that. It's from milk, dairy product, but I buy that milk basically when it's already settled down. Um, the culture kind of started working, and it already been boiled down. So you know, kind of like cottage cheese. Already bought it like that, but it is before that. Because I'm going to search how cottage cheese is, because maybe I'm saying something bad. Yes, kind of like how cottage cheese is. Kind of like when you boil milk with lemon or maybe vinegar. I don't know what's the difference. But much drier. And I'm using this, putting some salt into it, and making it into a form, adding certain things to it, olives or cummins, pepper, or so on and so forth, kind of thing. And so I'm cutting a lot of time with this by buying this kind of product, and but still it kind of needs, like when you are forming and shaping. I have cheese forms. When you are putting the halfway ready material in it, like you have to mix it up, you have to salt it up, you have to mix it with additional kind of things. After that you still have to turn it like 10, 20, 30 and an hour, and then 2 hours, 4 hours, and so on later. Kind of have to do this kind of things. It would have a great shape. And if I, for example, go to work, then it can be 8 or 12 hours before I turn it. Not really good. So the best would be if I would back to start at least at noon, or maybe before or afternoon. It's kind of, there is like a couple hours to it. After that I put it out to dry. You know, this is not the kind of, if you are making cheese from milk, then you have to give it a salt bath to stop culture from spreading. If you are using this kind of culture, it's already kind of slow. Not a big problem if you don't. The salt going to help, or some liquid to leave it's halfway ready cottage cheese like product, and then it gets much closer to becoming a cheese, but it still has to dry a little bit out on a simple cutting board. I put a frame on it so no bugs or anything, air or some dust or nothing goes on it. There are cheese cloths too for this, so it's going to kind of dry, and I'm kind of turning it for a couple of days, every 12 hours or so it would really dry out. And then after 3 days I'm kind of checking it, and then putting wax on it, and then put it away for around 2 weeks. Make it this really nice and hard, bubbly kind of cheese. So for this, I would don't want to do this today, because I already have plants that have to be kind of resettled, replanted, some more, some less. So I want to kind of that first, because it's not something that can wait too much. I like rambling about things. I like to tell about many things. Yes. I kind of ran out of topics for a moment, because mainly I'm listening to the music and just chilling, you know. It's kind of a nice feeling. I have been at a lot of places today, and now that I'm sitting down, finally I have time to relax, and it's a good feeling. After this, I'm going to try to do my job as fast as possible, and I actually want to try out. No. I already made a couple mistakes anyway. I want to continue playing Lords and Villains in the game because I said I mentioned that I already messed up a couple of times. I made my manor too big. There isn't really how should I say this? No, I know what I want to say and I know how I want to say it. I'm just kind of getting a brain freeze now that I sit down. So anyway, I made a couple mistakes inside the game. And if possible, one day I want to like dream Aurora too, and some other things. Sorry for the chair noises. I want to. But the mistake was that. Sorry, microphone. So I miscalculated the prices on the market. So I miscalculated how it's going to work. I miscalculated how much I'm giving to the people, because if I want to sell, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop with the think about. I kind of given too much money for cultivating land, made the land too big and too compact. So that means everything was on one land. I didn't give, sorry for that, I didn't give enough working sawmill, how do they call it? So somewhere where the woodworkers can cut wood. I didn't. And this meant that like a family of 5 couldn't work efficiently and could mainly only produce wood instead of boards or planks. Yeah. It's kind of... honestly, I really like the game. It's not the game that I wanted this, with my gameplay. But I messed up so many places. Like... yes. However, my interview today was successful. We'll see how the work is. If I can keep it or not. If I'm going to do fine or not. Yes. I'm having an income is having an income is not just necessary because you know you need food or food or beers or whatever else. I don't think about that. Having income gives you a certain freedom. For example, I can play around doing my stream. Currently, I looked around. I want to buy a 2D live kind of thing. I want to start up my Twitter, Discord, do a couple of advertisement so people could find me. But I don't really want to start that before at least I have a new microphone or some tools that I need. So for that, the freedom of creating, or not really the freedom of creating, the freedom to do certain things, the freedom to start things or to contractorship. No, not that too. For example, if you want to start a business, you need a hammer. Of course, if you want to start to draw, you need a pencil. Some of these things are cheaper, some of them are more expensive. So you need some kind of things, and with an income, you have the freedom to get those kind of things. So, what, invest in yourself, or invest in your tools, or try out things? The freedom of that. I don't know how it's called. I'm not such a perfect being. So very far from peace. I looked up yesterday's stream and I really liked my enthusiasm. I really liked But without stop, I could talk for a whole hour, and I actually liked some of the things I was talking about. However, I can say that the quality of certain things are so good. I also want to add a million plugins, but I'm not sure if I can do that. I want to do animations, but that takes time. I want to do a lot of things, but I would rather hire an artist to do that. It costs money. Can I do it myself? Well, I'm sorry if that was loud. Thing is, I can do a lot of things, but if you take for example a paint, I just said paint because most Windows comes with that, hopefully. You start drawing and you make some art for yourself. It may be good, it may be bad, you may be improve. And this is an important kind of thing. But sometimes you have to organize your free time in a better sense. Because I can spend 4 hours making horrible or improving upon myself, but mainly usually what I can draw that well. So when I do these kind of things, they are not going to be top notch quality, but they are going to be, let's see, okay. But I spend 4 hours doing that, and another 4 hours, and when you're already working and have 3 days, those 4 hours, at home most people only want to work like 6 hours maybe, or 12 hours if they are working for themselves and don't have a daily job. But if you already have a job, working more than 4 or 6 hours because it's, for example, have to work or at Saturday or something, it's kind of gets a lot, overwhelms people easily. And so maybe sometimes it's easier to say that, hey, an artist will do this for $10, $40, $100. Is that a lot of money, by the way? Let me just, it depends what you get on the $100. You get a lot of things, yeah. If not, the thing is, sometimes I feel like it's just better investing to things, but I also have other things to do. I also want to get other skills and so on. Well, however, I really want to stream because I already pushed this like half a year ago or a year ago. I started streaming but didn't do it because I don't have money. Let's get a job. Alright, now we have this, now we have that. I can barely do streaming. Okay, I can do streaming today because this. And in the end, I got fired from my job. We had a lot of problems. No chips. No chips, like not potato, but like microchips. No microchips. Wow, the car factory is not working, not selling cars. Now we are not going to buy your product. Well, then I'm a liability. And goodbye. So, and I gave up on a couple of things, and sometimes I really feel myself bad too, because not all workplaces are great. Some of the coworkers are just really not nice, and then you are already socially awkward and have a hard time. Then you have these coworkers who make your life hard, and just kind of those kind of things. I'm playing with a line, that's the continue. So I think I rather try to focus my energies on something that I can do. Yes, I'm playing with my keys. I'm sorry. I stop. I know it's annoying, but I kind of let my chair down a little bit so I wouldn't have creaking noises. But this means I can't really do the leg thing. When your leg is kind of running in the same place. I can do it because my chair is on the lowest setting. So anyway, I'm here to learn. I'm here to practice my English, and hopefully my work will last this time, at least for some time. I don't know. Maybe it will be too hard to crawl. Maybe I will not be able to thing is, I'm sorry, chair. The thing is, in a lot of movies and a lot of inspirational videos you hear, you can just do it. Go on, just work harder, just wow, be inspired, just. But the thing is, after a couple 12-hour shift, that is physical work, you get home, you're not necessarily forward in life or have that much money, or you still, for example, I don't have many socks anymore. Now I'm going to have to buy socks. So I'm going to work for a month and kind of patch these things up, and then I work for a month and then, wow, you've worked really so hard, so inspired. Are you really that much forward? No, not really. I kind of bought socks. So, but you have no stability, or kind of like a quarter or half of my salary I can spend. So that's still a certain amount that is left for extra things, which is good. But I think working, of course, gets you forward, but when you are that tired because of work, or it's something so heavy physically that you just cannot do, because I see a lot of inspirations that you just have to work harder and do this and do that and be faster. It's not true. Alright, there is a weight limit that you can raise, or how fast you can pack it. And I had jobs where I was packing 10-20 kilogram, sometimes 40 kilogram. No, I can't raise it, I have to put it on my knees and then kind of lift the other end, and when it's somehow like, then you like lean back a little bit, not too much because you break yourself, and then when it's on your knees and kind of on your thighs, because kind of rolled back, bent back, then you can kind of lean it against the table and then push it upwards when you already have a leverage on the table, so it's not like 40 kilo. I have been doing this for around 2 weeks before my physical health degraded to a level where I was when I was muscular, like strong, like I had an abs, and I had fat some, but my first 4 packs were out, and I had like really big biceps. I lost most of these in 2 weeks. I was so broken down. I was 90 kilogram from around 120 kilogram, and I know for some people that's okay, maybe that's healthy or whatever. In 2 weeks you are not supposed to lose 30 kilogram, and I was skyrocketing downwards, and I was sick. I couldn't hear, I couldn't breathe. I outside of work I couldn't walk fast, right? My knees felt like I only had bones in my knees and no flesh, no sinew moving it. And when you hear these inspirational kind of things, yeah, work harder. Well, good luck for that. It's not going to work. You are not a forklift. It's just not how it works. So you kind of have to balance these out. Get some. Focus yourself. Maybe kind of trying to speed up to things that can kind of help you, like getting a tool that fastens your work. Because even if you have more free time, like if you are doing something really fast, like you are making doors, and you bought certain bits, or you are going to use the money you earned to invest into a powered machine that can make the edges really fast, then you have free time, and you can either say I'm going to work more and take more jobs, or I can do something else, or just rest better. These things do give you a lot of power. Like when I was doing other things, working from home, and I had an Excel sheet, and with that Excel sheet I managed to work so much faster. Everything was organized and 2 clicks away. Everything from accountings to where everything and everyone's kind of stuff was. And the same thing was when I was developing. I dropped notepads everywhere. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Every idea, every kind of thing we talked about, not keys or such, that was in a different place. But everything that was in my thoughts, so I wouldn't have to remember everything. And just like I left off, even code pieces, just like I left one work from the other, I could just continuously work. And these little things, it's like when every day you spend 50 minutes making a sandwich, and you do it, let's say, twice a day, you spend 30 minutes. Instead, you learn how to make a sandwich in 2 minutes. And now a day you have 25 minutes, which 26, but 2 minutes plus a couple of seconds. Now you have 25 minutes of free time, and it's not much. Maybe you watch like a couple more YouTube videos, but it's a quality of life improvement, certainly. So I have been thinking about what kind of jobs would I take. I once again took one that is hard, but it pays well, and maybe I will be able to do things a bit differently. I want to learn from past mistakes. It's very important. And I'm sorry I'm rambling a lot about jobs and works and so on. I don't think this one is going to be very popular. Anyway, if all of my videos get 0 views, this is probably going to get even less, like -1 or 2. Because I know a lot of people don't really want to talk about work because they use these streams as work. But it's kind of my diary and kind of my mind ramblings. So I just like to throw ideas out, like how can you work faster, more efficient, and make more money at the same time? A lot of people like to think about this, and I know it's not a popular topic because it can be annoying. I just came home from work, I don't care. God bless work, usually the opposite what people say, but I kind of want to forget about it, and it's okay. Anyway, what was I on about? Yeah. So I really like VTubers. There have been a lot of them that I watched recently, and because I really wanted to get some inspiration. I have been looking around what kind of intros, outros, what kind of music, what kind of background do these people use? What is the thing they do on stream that is so enjoyable? And I kind of wanted to learn from that. I don't want to like, I don't know, I'd want to please. I don't want to disappoint a viewer that comes around. And I mean, it's probably going to happen quite a lot, knowing myself. But I feel like there is more potential. Okay, I'm just trying to put words together to tell what I want to tell, but it's obviously not working. I noticed myself too. Alright, my voice is a bit dragged down. My thinking is not really that fast. Maybe because it haven't been so long since I eaten. But yeah, oh, I just remembered. I got up really soon today. Maybe that's why. I'm a bit tired, maybe. See, that's the kind of thing I said. When you're starting to lose focus or work, your physicality, your mind, it just doesn't work the same way. So if you say work 110%, and the next thing you are going to do is going to be even less than that. It's just not going to work too well. So anyway, I have discovered a lot of streams, and I don't want to say them by name. Oh gosh, I love to. Damn, do I love them. And and I watched some of their old streams too, and I feel like I once again got inspired to go on, which I really like, because one of the many reasons why I wanted to start VTubing originally, because, well, should I say I'm a weeb? Technically not, but I'm going to go back to it because I had and didn't have a period, but I had a heavy influence on me. Animes were a heavy influence on me as I was growing up. That is just really hard. Anyway, for one, I really want to do the same thing they are doing. I really like what they are doing, but I understand there is a lot of work behind it, and it's not so easy. So I kind of have to learn it. Remember when I said you can spare time but working better and working faster? That's the kind of thing I want to do. So I want to learn. If I want to develop OBS, I want to learn how to do that fast and efficient, because that's how I code. Really fast, really efficient, and a bunch of bugs. No, that's not true. I usually like to, when I'm have to remember to go back to being a weeb. You know what? I'm just going to write it up because I forget it anyway. What? Weeb. So when I'm coding, usually I go into a mindset of the computer's logic, which sounds, I don't know how it sounds, but it means I'm going to write my software in a way that is most logical to a computer. I would like to say most understandable. Whatever you write, it's as long as it's written well, it's going to understand. It's not really, maybe you can do it faster. It's not what I meant, really. I don't use human kind of, like how you read it as a human. I'm following machine logic. How would the computer think? Which is a weird, interesting thing. When I develop a lot, sometimes it happens. But the thing is, what you want to do is a human interface, not really a machine kind of thing. Also, I do kind of mistakes, like logically, it's perfect what I'm coding down, and it does exactly what I wanted it to do, but I didn't think it in a human way, and now what the program does is absolutely perfect, but it's gibberish for the user, because the user just wanted to like 1, 2, 3 or 5 numbers, you know, browse buttons or search menu or something, you know, a label, a menu, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you know, when you have like a gallery, and I don't know how they call the numbers at the bottom, and I do it perfectly in machine logic, and then I realize it makes no sense in this regard. It's just not useful. Sometimes I do this kind of very I'm kind of it's stupid, but it's not stupid, it's a very smart kind of stupid, and I'm actually really proud of myself because I do very fast programming sometimes, and my brain just turns onto it and it's flawlessly like awesome. But sometimes I go too far and go into this magic logic, machine logic. That is actually really nice in a way, it's just kind of useless from a user point of view. It's not useful. It is not a data that you would expect, like a simple link system, like having menus, and that's the simplest linking system. Links. Alright, that's the controller. You are controlling the browser page based on clicks. There isn't anything else, no commands, no, just click on go to home, and everything is circled out back, and you have a simple menu, and that's the most basic and primitive form. But from the point of view of human and utilitarian, great. But you are doing a perfect machine kind of line, and there are no links, but like, I don't know, an URL kind of something. So then you realize that there is just stupid and useless. There is no proper UI for it. It's like a game without controls. It runs really awesome, but you will have to I don't know, have a joystick for an adventure game. It sounds not so bad, but think something about something bad. Next thing, before I forget, video. I actually could remember that I wouldn't have needed to write it up. The second thing is Veeb. Am I or am I not a Veeb? Am I or am I not? What should I be? The thing is, when I was growing up, I was influenced a lot by the 90s animes. Not the booby jiggly kind of. As much as I would like to like a lot of animes today, some of them are really entertaining and I really like them, but they have certain trophies, I think that's what it's called, certain cliches that are just annoying to have, and slowly but surely I kind of fallen out of watching anime. I am going to watch a couple of them. I have a list. I put it together. There have been a couple nice animes lately, but even from reading manga, I just no longer do it. But when I was growing up, I was very heavily influenced by anime and of course later on YouTube content. And those good old, if you are thinking about, for example, Yu Yu Hakusho, I know it's not everyone's favorite. That's such a great kind of anime that has, and you know, we have Kaleido Star, we have Trigun, we have Cowboy Bebop. All of these have that kind of soul, a great animation. They have a story, many episodes, patience. They have feelings, emotions, of course, story, a plot of writing. Probably I mentioned this, but I wanted to add to it. And all of this together made the 90s anime, not the movies generally, but just like you look at later animes too, like Inuyasha. Inuyasha wasn't, or maybe Ergo Proxy, whenever came out. You can also find other kind of animes towards 2008 or something. The thing is, the shows had maybe a core, I would say, that was very hard to pick on. Like, if you look at a movie that is good, it has at least every one of its parameters at an average or good, and it's just everything is so well stretched and sewn together that it makes a work. and you don't have a problem that if you make a core out of this a little ball, then there is a hole here or a hole there. Every one of its parameters, attributes, whatever you would like to call it, I don't know its name, every one of it has at least a minimum attention. Maybe the story is not the greatest thing. Maybe they couldn't very well explain why they have mechas, or why they have magic, or how it works. But they spend enough attention to it that you do not feel alienated, and that it just doesn't bother you or your immersion. You don't really want to immerse into these animes either, it's not what I meant. But you can watch it without being interrupted by these little problems. Today, watching an anime in this regard, not for all of them, because a lot of them are, damn, just really hard to find something to nitpick about it. A lot of these are really great animes. But if you looking at a general conception, right, you could have looked at Rama 1.5 or Dragon Ball Z. Their story or explaining of it, the plot, or why it's like that, why it's like so on and so forth, not always the best explained, but it doesn't matter. They have given a background and a base well enough to stand on, and a lot of modern animes really like this. So would I be a weeb? I like watching animes to a certain regard. If animes would have kept being as good as they were or improving, I would totally be a weeb today. I would have just gone right down the rabbit hole. I would be at anime cons, hugging these girls, buying doujins. But I remember that when Naruto arrived to Hungary, it was a big thing. But already barely anything was keeping up the anime culture. Later on we had Fairy Tail, Beelzebub, we had of course Bleach, really big one. But did I just say my country's name? I fucking hate myself. Over here it was kind of radiant time when anime cons were really great. Anime was spreading, and when it already started to have its culture, its own fan animations, suddenly around 10 years ago, just ran out of good stuff. Things like Ergo Proxy, which are, I think it's cult classics, a part of the cult classics, or Elfen Light, which are also kind of cult classic. From dark to light, the culture and the community didn't die, because there are always good animes that keep the industry alive. Always good moments, interesting stuff. But if I pick up an anime today and I start watching, sometimes, you know, I watch episode 3 or okay, an hour or so passed. I close the browser because I'm going to sleep or going to eat something, and I don't really want to reopen the anime to watch it again. Sometimes it feels dragged, or just okay, we made another harem anime for some reason. But it's not really that keeps you interested or locked down to your seat for that very much time. And the animation quality has been from time to time better or worse, sometimes degrading. Like, I know that the eyes are really pretty, I know that there is 14 shades for a hair and a sandwich. But the fight scenes have 3 FPS. Or it just doesn't look good, or I just don't care. And the thing is with, for example, if you watch Inuyasha, each of the characters' strike, each of his advances, whenever, for example, Inuyasha's sword got a new power, or they did something anew, it was not just a fight but a necessity. It was something that both kept the show moving, something you waited for, something you wanted to, and something you were interested in. If an anime character gets a new power or power up today, it's more like something that you were either expecting or waiting for, or just let's just skip already there because the rest is not that important. But back in the day, we were curious of the characters and they're going on, and for this everything else was just a frame. The new power was a frame. When Ichigo got a new power, it was super cool. It was kind of in between these two. In a way, you wanted Ichigo to go on, but on the other side you wanted to see the really cool power and animation and fight. But on the other hand, you might didn't want him to die. In a way, it's kind of like Dragon Ball Z in this regard, where it's heavily, the fight is one of the most important aspects. But you also know of his family, of his friendship. Why is he doing this? Why is he so reluctant? You want when Yoroichi comes to screen, most people are happy to see her. Oh, we are going to get something new, learn something about this character, learn more of their story. Same with Kurihara. The fight is really good, but for example, Ulquiorra and Grimjaw were really popular characters, and they were villains. People were so interested about them, and the fights kind of end this, but they were still really good. So something is there that you want the next episode. You want to hear more about the characters, what and why they are doing it. And of course, I know Bleach had better or worse parts too. I don't mean to. I mean from manga and from story writing, not necessarily fillers or the writing. All shows had a lot of this kind of thing. So if this would have continued, I would say this trend would have continued. Like, I don't expect every movie, every series to have movie kind of quality, but there are so many typical kind of anime today that just if you've seen one, you've seen kind of all of them. And I really want to relate to the character, but you know, it's, for example, with Isekai, I expected a lot more trying, a lot more hey, try this out. What if our Isekai protagonist, what's he going to bring into this new world? And we had so many refreshing ideas in the Isekai. This was one of the last things I had watched a lot about, because Isekai actually had a lot of new and interesting ideas. And I don't just mean the general mainstream kind of things, which is really good and really nice. I remember, for example, we had the slime. The slime was trying to live and improve upon people's lives. It's not really a city building kind of things, but maybe it's a little bit like that. But the point is, the slime keeps the anime going because we can see her slime struggle, and the way he kind of interacts with everything. The love. He does these things. He gets better housing because, for example, to make a timber house, you kind of need these Etsy. How they call them? I'm going to translate these kind of things. There are a couple words there, which are not really hard. Oh, sorry. You need these hatchets, which are not the right translation. Oh, come on, man. Sometimes you need adzes and hatches, really sharp, super sharp. You kind of clean them down to an almost square-like, shape. Because, for example, with a lot of these, okay, I think timber houses may also mean maybe I'm meaning the timber framing and not the timber house. Because when you're just, oh, that's a log house, yes. When you're putting logs on each other, you just have to hatchet them out. And if you have ever cut a real tree, that's not easy. Even if your hatchet is sharp, imagine that the middle of the wood, of hardwood especially, is so hard, the hatchet will kind of bounce off. It's kind of just can't cut into a wood. It's like you're hitting iron with iron. Or it's going to splinter so little. See, you want to work fast or somewhat on a reasonable speed. But if you are going to chip just little bits away, like super little bits, that's not going to be good. So the dwarves had this, but they also have planes. I actually don't know this on my own language. So planes, and plane, on. How do you call? Alright, I'm going to kind of search for this. A plane. That's what it's called. Alright. So it's not an airplane I'm meaning here. I'm meaning here oh god, that's another really a foot plane. Something that can make a surface relatively straight and clean it off. For this you need high quality materials. You need something to form the wood to even make the plane high quality iron, because the thing is, you need super sharp tools, which you somehow have to clean, somehow have to blacksmith, somehow have to sharpen. And this was one of the problem of goblins, orcs, and whatsoever. I don't know who was with him, that they didn't have this, and he didn't do it to build a city. If the city would have been just nomad tents, the slime would have been alright with it. But you can see from point of view of the slimy that he wanted better for the people. The other is like when the demon lord kind of builds his own inn. Not just an inn, but his own bathhouse. It's very interesting and very nice, to be honest. It's refreshing. There are problems like how he's making so much money, but there are a lot of actual business and so on kind of things. It's kind of interesting. Pushed into the like how Gate is what, military kind of anime or an adventure kind of anime or whatever. There are a lot of things washed together that kind of make the fall better. Alright, I'm losing my capability to speak and speak English. So I'm going to take a little bit of time and maybe continue in 1 or 2 days. Kind of try a couple of things out. Be nice, and hope you had a good day. Hope you liked the stream. And if not, I'm sorry, but I hope you have a good time today. And learn to be well and learn to smile. I'm sorry. Bye bye.